Before you dive into the chaos of The Bear Season 4, let's rewind and break down everything that went down in Season 3. From Carmy's relentless pursuit of perfection to tensions boiling over in the kitchen, Season 3 was packed with emotional moments, unexpected twists, and plenty of culinary drama. In this video, I'm recapping all the major storylines, character arcs, and cliffhangers you need to remember, so you're fully ready for what's coming next. Let's get into it. The Bear will formally return for Season 4 on June 25, 1 year after the end of its third season. The program is centered on the employees of the restaurant that was once called The Beef and has subsequently changed its name to The Bear, though The Bear still maintains a sandwich window for The Beef for its 3 seasons to date. At the heart of it all is Carmy Berzatto, who is committed to realizing the goal he and his late brother Mikey had. According to the trailer, Season 4 of The Bear will focus on the consequences of Carmy's actions and how he handled his relationships in the previous season. It will begin soon after the events of the Season 3 finale. For at least one episode, it will also take everyone away from the restaurant to attend Tiff and Frank's wedding. Here's all you need to know about The Bear Season 3 before Season 4 premieres later this week. Carmy significantly overcorrects in Season 3 after becoming sidetracked from the eatery during his romance with Claire in Season 2. Without consulting Sydney first, he makes several alterations to The Bear. Carmy enforces a set of non-negotiables, rules governing how the restaurant should be operated and how all of its employees should behave. Changing every dish on the menu each night is one of these regulations. Naturally, this irritates almost everyone else working at the restaurant, particularly Sydney, who is meant to be his partner. As the season comes to a close, Carmy and Richie are still at odds because Richie won't forgive him for what he said while he was imprisoned in the refrigerator. Carmy is still at his lowest point at the end of Season 3 and hasn't reconciled with those he has harmed. Carmy still seems adrift heading into Season 4, even though he at least entered Season 3 resolved to give the restaurant his best. In Season 3 is disclosed that a Chicago Tribune food reviewer visited The Bear in stealth, dined there, and wrote a review. Season concludes with Carmy's ambiguous response to the evaluation after viewing a combination of favorable and bad language. Therefore, the contents of the review have not yet been fully disclosed. It's obvious that a lot depends on what has been released. In addition to the damage to The Bear's reputation, Jimmy sadly informed Carmy earlier in the season that he would not be able to continue sponsoring the restaurant in the event that the review was unfavorable. Furthermore, the contents of the review will undoubtedly have a significant influence on Carmy's perspective in the forthcoming Season 4, given that he worked tirelessly to polish the restaurant in Season 3. The Bear's third season sees a number of significant character changes, but it also leaves some storylines open at the conclusion. With Donna by her side, Nat eventually gives birth to her daughter. Throughout the season, Marcus copes with his mother's passing and goes to her burial. Tiff invites Richie to the wedding after announcing that she and Frank are getting married. Richie is prepared to let Tiff go, and his worries are primarily about his uncertainty about his role in Eva's life. The teaser makes it apparent that several of these plotlines will be carried over into the next season. While Tiff's wedding appears to contain several emotionally charged scenes, Nat and Pete are depicted acclimating to fatherhood. The most startling development in The Bear's third season is that Ever has formally closed. Chef Terry explains that she decided to close Ever because she wanted to finally pursue other interests and live a more laid-back lifestyle. A lovely event, Ever's funeral dinner, occupies the most of the Season 3 finale. While Carmy sits at one of the main tables with Sydney, whom he has invited to accompany him, Richie decides to work in the kitchen and reconnect with his co-workers from Ever. Sydney seems to be reminded that there is more to the restaurant industry than just Carmy and The Bear, and she thrives at the meal. However, when Carmy sees Chef David, his verbally abusive former boss, present, he is too preoccupied with the past. When Carmy eventually confronts Chef David, it doesn't seem to go as planned, and Carmy feels worse as a result. His intimate relationship with the chef going into Season 4, Terry might alter Carmy's perspective, but it will probably mostly depend on the review. Sydney has been offered a position as the CDC for the restaurant that Adam will be launching following the conclusion of Ever as of the end of Season 3. She is caught between wanting better treatment at work and being devoted to Carmy and everyone else at The Bear. Because she is worried about Carmy's frequent disrespect for her feelings and the fact that he hasn't been treating her like an equal partner, Sydney has been delaying signing the partnership agreement throughout the season. Sydney appears ready to leave The Bear by the end of Season 3, but she hasn't discussed this with Carmy yet. Sydney had a panic attack by herself outside as the season comes to a close, and it's obvious that something will have to give in Season 4. She has no reason to think that Carmy will change, and she cannot continue working with him the way he is. At this time, it is very reasonable for Sydney to be thinking about leaving The Bear, but Adam might withdraw the offer if she is reluctant to notify Carmy. It's uncertain if the Bear intends to allow Carmy to advance to the next phase of his character arc in Season 4 as he just grew more alone and unfocused in Season 3. It appears that Season 4 will ultimately reveal all of this underlying tension by the end of the season. Carmy will need to make amends with Sydney and Richie for his actions during the previous 2 seasons. Sydney will need to formally decide on the position and perhaps even accept it temporarily. Season 4 of The Bear will probably address several of these unsolved storylines, as Season 3 did not feel as comprehensive. It will be wonderful to finally receive some eagerly anticipated resolutions.